Somebody sent me a question this week, and the question was just simply this. They said, what is the purpose of church discipline? Now, that word discipline is a word that sometimes fires our mind to, being 8 years old or 4 years old and our britches dropped and daddy holding a paddle. Or at least it used to. Now it's timeouts, and withholding sippy cups. I don't know. But whatever comes into your mind with discipline, you're kind of like, hey, man, what are you going to do with paddling me? And so, but what's the purpose of this caring for one another? And the answer is this. I just responded with Jeremiah 1:17. Jeremiah 1:17 just says this. This is God speaking to Jeremiah, who is his prophet. He is called the weeping prophet because he wasn't really excited with what he was going to be tasked to do. He was going to be asked to speak to people. He was going to be asked to share with them truth that he knew they maybe wouldn't like. And he was like, is there anybody else? I'm not really up for this. And God said, now you gird up your loins and arise. The idea is that men would wear robes, and he's saying, you're about to have to run, boy. And so you get your little skirt, you tie it into a knot, and you get ready to go to war. And he says to him, I want you to speak to them all that I have commanded you. And he says, do not be dismayed before them, or I will dismay you before them. Because you're my boy. I love those people, and they are floundering. They are without prophet and priest in the land, because the church, in that sense, it was the leaders of Israel, which is not the church, a separate, distinct group of people. But my point here is that the means to which God had meant to be an expression of grace to the world was choking it out, and so he raised up a deliverer. Whenever God wants to deliver a people, he raises up a deliverer. It's just what he does. And when all the deliverers had failed, he finally sent himself. And we killed him, and hell applauded. And God laughed at their celebration because what they intended for evil, he was going to use for good. Fret not, church. That's what he always does. And so while folks laugh and see shaming being attributed to God's people, know that your God's at work, establishing his glory in the heavens. And our job is to not be dismayed before them, lest he dismay us. And there's a lot of places called churches that are rightly being dismayed in this country today because they're not his church at all.